Hey, race fans, welcome into another episode of Backseat Drivers. A whole slew of people we've added to the backseat. I'm going to need like a pickup truck at this point. We have Kim Coon, Jonathan Merryman, Eric, and Danny B. Guys, let's talk about Daytona and how surprising it was, Willie B. Let's just start out with who made it into the playoffs. We have Matt DiBenedetto and William Byron closing out that top 16.
Yeah, I mean, me and Kim went back and forth a little bit last week, kind of beating up on Byron and his Daytona credentials. But
wait, Kim and I disagreed with you? What?
Imagine that.
But look, I'll say this much. Denny was out front there on that final restart, and William Byron kind of took them all to school. He made all the right moves and did everything he needed to do. And look, Jimmy was one wreck away from advancing. If DiBenedetto would have got caught up in that final wreck on the last lap, we'd be singing a different tune. But I'm excited. A lot of new faces in the playoffs, and I think that makes it. This is no discredit to them. I think it makes it easier as you go through the rounds and kind of can pick some new people. But who knows? We might get a couple upsets.
Yeah, I will be the first to admit I did not have Byron winning at Daytona. I'm glad he did. It's always good to see a first-time winner and all the excitement that comes with that, and to see Byron in the playoffs. But again, some different faces in there. I think it's going to be fun to watch at least this opening round with all 16 of those drivers. And I'm still trying to decide who my champion is. Before the end of this, I will make a decision. But again, just a lot of fun with some different faces in there.
Yeah, it was tough to not see Jimmy Johnson make it into the final 16 because he did everything right Saturday night. Got points in stage 1 and stage 2, and then it was just typical Daytona, wrong place, wrong time. But you're right, it's an exciting 16 driver lineup. You got all 4 of the Penske-affiliated teams in there. You got all 4 of the Stewart-Haas racing cars in there, which with a rookie included. Like, who saw that coming at the beginning of the year? So it's going to be exciting to see who makes it all the way to Phoenix.
I hate it for Jimmy not making it, but I'm very excited for Matt DiBenedetto. He's been in the Cup Series now for quite a few years, and finally making his first NASCAR playoffs. I saw something on Twitter this week where someone said, imagine going back to 2014 and telling you that in 2020, Alex Bowman and Matt DiBenedetto would be in the NASCAR playoffs. So it's pretty incredible to see where they've all come.
Yeah, the 16 drivers, it's pretty stout lineup. It's going to be fun. Let's break down the first round, however, because we're getting started on Sunday. There's no break. The intensity has to pick up right this week for those guys. So we have Darlington, Richmond, and Bristol that are the round of 16. Talk about some heavy hitters for those first 3 races.
Yeah, I mean, this is a big boys game now. So, the guys that barely made it in are going to have to pick it up, and the guys who have kind of been doing a kind of a middle of the road job, they're going to have to be on their P's and Q's too. But I think guys like Harvick, Hamlin, Keselowski and Chase Elliott, they're all going to be fine. They're all going to be okay through this round. The first 2 have enough playoff points where I feel like they could set one out and they'd still be fine, still make it in. But I think here's who I think is in trouble through this round. I think the 14, the 41, the 3, and the 24 are all very susceptible to getting booted out, and they actually are out after the round of 16 in my bracket.
I got to agree with some of what Jonathan says, even though I don't want to. Again, Harvick and Hamlin basically are just sliding their way into the round of 12. Not only that, they're both very good at Darlington, so they're going to have good races just to kick off the round of 16. Some of the same names Jonathan said, I think, probably are in trouble this round. Austin Dillon, Cole Custer. I actually think Almirola might have a little difficulty as we move through this. Once we get past Darlington, he was fast at Darlington when we were there earlier this season, but I see him having trouble when we hit Richmond and Bristol. One guy I think that's actually going to slide into the round of 12 and make it through these first 3 races is Matt DiBenedetto. I know maybe a lot of people counted him out. He wasn't necessarily a lock to even be in the playoffs, but you look at his performance at one of the earlier races in Darlington, solid, very fast, and then he's good at short tracks, and we're going to Richmond and Bristol. So I think a surprise move into the next round could be Matt DiBenedetto.
I'll be rooting for Matt DiBenedetto for sure, but unfortunately, I just feel like he doesn't have – I know it's kind of a made-up thing, but he doesn't really have momentum right now. He didn't really run well at the Daytona road course, which I think we all expected him to run well. He kind of limped through Dover, and he only finished 11th. He kind of only made it because Jimmy had trouble on that final, the second-to-last restart. So, unfortunately, I have Matt DiBenedetto missing this first round because I do think how you're running right now matters. I also have the rookie Cole Custer. I agree with you guys. I think it's going to be tough for a rookie to make it much past this round. And I have Austin Dillon as well, and then maybe as a surprise, I have Alex Bowman getting out in the first round. Alex Bowman is not the same Alex Bowman we saw the first 4 races of the year before everything shut down, and really haven't seen winning speed out of Alex Bowman consistently at all since May. So I don't have a whole lot of faith in Bowman. He doesn't have a whole lot of playoff points to his credit. And you look at these tracks coming up, I don't know if they're going to fit his history very well.
I am going to disagree with Eric on that one. The 88 team did pick it up a little bit these last few races, a top 10 at Daytona, a top 5 at Dover. So they kind of have picked up their momentum right when they need it most. But I might get some hate for this one here. My guys eliminated. I do have Austin Dillon going out, Cole Custer, and I have Kurt Busch. He's kind of flown under the radar for me here lately. Might not be a good first round for him. I know he got Bristol. He's great at Bristol, but, sometimes he's not always good at Bristol. But the big one I kind of don't see working out is actually kind of a nosedive for Ryan Blaney, because I think back to a lot of races, especially at Bristol, where he's been out front leading and then gets involved in a crash and, the day's done for him. So Ryan Blaney, this could be a bad round for him.
If you call that correct, I'll give you all the credit in the world.
Well, and to your point, this first race we go to Darlington, Ryan is not good at Darlington, so he could be behind the 8 ball early.
He's had not the best luck at Bristol either, so he needs to turn that around for sure. All right, let's look ahead to the round of 12, because I talked to Cole Pern earlier, and he said that this was kind of the one that he was keeping his eye on to be the wild card of the playoffs, because you have Las Vegas, then we head to Talladega, which I don't even know what's going to happen in Talladega for the playoffs. And then you go, to the Roval, which is always crazy every single year too. So let's break down the round of 12.
First off, nobody knows what's going to happen going into Talladega, and most people don't remember what happened at Talladega when they leave. So that goes for the people in the car and in the infield. But so for this round, here's the guys I have out. I have the 88 out after this round. I have the 10 out after this round. I've got Kurt Busch out and Matt DiBenedetto out, which, if you think about it, people who are usually fairly decent at Talladega, the 88 and the 10 car, I just don't see it. I think the competition level is really, really, really going to uptick. I think the new schedule of tracks is really going to throw a wrench into things, and unless we see something, really big through that first round, I think those guys are going to be out. I think, Talladega is Blaney's house as of late. And if Danny B is incorrect and he's still in the playoffs, I think he'll be good there. I think we know who's going to run really well at the Roval, and that being Chase Elliott and Martin Truex Jr. So this could be a huge wild card, but, if the people who are usually good continue to be good, I think it's relatively predictable. I think the hard tracks make it a little bit more predictable.
Well, to your point there, Jonathan, I can see why you think the 88 might not make it, but I'm not looking at Talladega for Alex Bowman. I'm looking at another track for him. We got the Roval in there. Now, while Chase Elliott is really good on these road courses, he won the Roval last year. You know who's got actually probably the best average finish of the Roval the last 2 years? It is Alex Bowman. He finished, 3rd or 4th in 2018. He finished 2nd there a year ago after having to start from the back and had incidents that happened the whole day. So, personally, I think this could be the year that Alex Bowman wins the Roval and he advances his way into the round of 8.
Well, I think out after the round of 12 is going to be Hendrick teammates Bowman and Byron. I don't think they survive Vegas, Talladega, Charlotte. I do think, though, their other teammate, Chase Elliott, has a shining moment during the round of 12. I think he probably at least wins one of those races. Very good at Talladega. Also, we've seen his strength at the Roval. So I think Chase Elliott becomes a star during this round. Also out this round, I have Kurt Busch. And then I'm kind of hesitant on the 4th driver out. I think it's going to be a Team Penske driver. Haven't decided, though, if it's going to be Blaney, Logano, or Keselowski. I think it's going to be one of those Team Penske drivers that ends up being out after the round of 12. They just haven't had the strength in these last handful of races, especially compared to what we saw from the beginning of the season from them. So kind of a question mark there in that 4th one out, but I do think it's going to be a Team Penske driver.
This might spark up a bit more of a conversation, but I have Kurt Busch and Clint Boyer being out this round. I also have the other Busch brother. I think this is where Kyle Busch's season, the defending champion, comes to an end. If you look, the Roval, he's finished outside the top 30 each of the last 2 years. He had mechanical issues at the Daytona road course a few weeks ago. He's never been good at the fall Talladega race. So it all really comes down to, can he win Kansas? Because he doesn't have hardly any playoff points to his credit. And when you get into this crunch time, that comes into play. So I honestly think the way this year has gone, I would not be shocked to see an early playoff exit from Kyle Busch. And then I also have Ryan Blaney being out in this round. And this is kind of just my wild card pick. Every year when I make these types of predictions, there's always one that just doesn't add up to the numbers, because per the numbers, like Jonathan mentioned, Blaney's great at all the tracks in the round of 12, but this year, the way it's been, I feel like it's been a story of run really well and then not get the finish he deserves. And I just have a feeling that's how this round's going to work out. So that's my wild card pick. It doesn't make sense, but that's why it makes sense to me in this case. I think there's going to be one just surprise pick this round.
I think rather than me going back and saying who I've got eliminated, it'd just be easier for me to say who I think will be in my round of 8, and that is Kevin Harvick, Denny Hamlin, Chase Elliott, Alex Bowman, Kyle Busch, Martin Truex, Eric Almirola, and Clint Boyer, actually.
All right, well, Danny, you teed us up, and I'm going to make everybody hungry because we're going to Kansas for some barbecue. Then we're going to head to Texas for some tacos, and we're finishing at Merriman's home track, Martinsville. We get all the hot dogs we can stand. So let's break down the round of 8 and what that's going to look like. Danny, you mentioned who's involved in your round of 8 and who will be competing in those 3 races. But Merriman, let's start with you, since we'll give you the Martinsville home advantage. You're muted.
I said I'll take 10 hot dogs all the way, but that's, if somebody starts their round of 8 muted, it's going to be hard to dig out of that hole, because
good segue.
Martinsville to end that round is, I can't imagine having my back up against the wall at Martinsville. It used to open this round, and now everything's on the line. And if you think, we've had some crazy moments in Martinsville, whether on pit road, on the backstretch after the race, people fighting. It's going to be absolutely nuts. Having said that, I have the 22, the 12, the 19, and the 18 all getting booted, which means I have the 4, the 11, the 9, and the 2 all advancing out of the round of 8. And really, if I go down the list and look at it, Chase Elliott's my only Chevrolet driver that makes it to the round of 8, and I think that's going to benefit him a lot. I do think Hendrick will spend some resources and stuff to make sure Jimmy Johnson has an opportunity at getting a win. But if Chase is the only Chevy driver in that round of 8, I think a lot of resources go his way. If you look at it, the round of 8 has always been his Achilles heel, and really Phoenix has been his Achilles heel. He'd make it to Phoenix, and then something would happen. And he wasn't able to advance to Homestead. Now Phoenix is out of the equation. I definitely think that this is an opportunity for Chase to make that next step and make to that championship 4. But I think Logano's out. I think Blaney's out. I think TRUEX is out, and Kyle Busch are out. And look, all 4 of those guys are pretty good at all these racetracks, but I just think that there are some other guys that have been a little bit better this year.
I'll tell you who's going to my championship 4, and you can do the math on who's out. I've got Logano, Hamlin, Harvick, and Chase Elliott all competing at Phoenix in the championship 4 for the hardware. So again, I'm going to see Ryan Blaney and Keselowski exiting after the round of 8. TRUEX, you could make a case that he could make it to the championship 4, but I just don't think we've seen enough from them that season, and they continue to have bad luck here and there. So I don't see him going on to the championship 4. I liked Eric's point earlier about an early exit from Kyle Busch. So because we haven't officially kicked off the start to the playoffs, I might go and reevaluate my earlier rounds and maybe have Kyle exiting early. Doesn't even have a win yet this season. So one to maybe rethink as I go back through and really hone in and polish my playoff grid bracket. But I do think that we will see possibly Chase Elliott win in this round 2, the round of 8. I think he will be one of the drivers that has multiple wins during the playoffs. Trying to think if there's any other big notes on that. No, that's major players. Again, Logano, Hamlin, Harvick, Elliott are going to be good in this round and make it to the championship 4.
I definitely agree with your point earlier about Martin Truex. He hasn't shown the ability to win this year the way he has in years past, but I actually like Martin Truex moving all the way to the championship 4 just because of how well they've done lately. They're on a streak of like 8 or 9 straight top 4 finishes. There's no wins in that mix, but he might be that consistent guy that makes his way to Phoenix in this case. There's always one guy that gets there kind of on just average finish, I suppose. So I have faith in Martin Truex, but it's going to come down, I think, between him and Chase Elliott, especially at Martinsville, a track that Chase Elliott historically has always been really good at. Martin Truex won there earlier this year. I think those are the two guys you're going to see battling it out for likely the final playoff spot, because I also have Harvick and Hamlin making it in, as well as Brad Keselowski. He is my fourth member of the championship four. So I have William Byron making it to the round of 8 and getting eliminated. I'm on the William Byron hype train after that gutsy performance Saturday night. And then Eric Almirola, he's been so consistent this year, but I do think the round of 8's where it's going to come to a close for him.
And my round of 8, I have, obviously I'm not like Eric. I don't have Kyle Busch going out in the first round just because I see Bristol's on there.
I'm not crazy.
Kyle Busch has gotten 1 win at Bristol a year since 2017. So how can he not be ready to go out and win the 2020 night race at Bristol? So he will actually end up being in the round of 8, and I see him doing very good at those tracks. He's going to get his way into the championship 4, in my opinion. But I think this is the year Chase Elliott finally gets his redemption in Martinsville. That's a track that's been good to him over the years, but has never won when he's had cars capable of it. I see him getting the win there. And then I also have Harvick and Hamlin being in the championship 4.
All right. Well, Phoenix is where it will all end, and that's where the trophy will be awarded at the end of the 2020 season. So I just need one answer from everybody. Your championship pick. Give me a name.
I think Denny Hamlin's going to end up, and I have a prediction of what Kim's going to pick as well, but I can't tell you until she reveals that. But look, I think we all know that Harvick, Phoenix is his house, but as of late, it hasn't really been. I do think he will be in contention at the end of this thing, but look, if it doesn't happen for Hamlin this year, it's never going to happen, and I don't see a reason why it can't happen for him. So I do think Denny will be our champion at the end of the race at Phoenix.
All right, Casey, I'm going to have you hold. You're going to go last. So Eric and Danny, let's go first. We're going to just build the suspense. Merriman wrote it down. The Backseat Drivers version of a magic trick. All right, Eric, you want to start?
Yeah, it's tough because all the eyes point to Denny Hamlin and Kevin Harvick, and I think that is the safest pick. But man, you look at, they have 13 wins combined, and their only wins with the 750 low downforce package have come at Dover. You look at guys like TRUEX, you look at guys like Keselowski, who've got most of their wins, or in TRUEX's case, his only win with this rules package. And you look at how well Harvick ran early in the year. I like your pick, Denny Hamlin. I think it'd be great to see him play spoiler, but I cannot bet against Kevin Harvick at Phoenix, even though he hasn't won there in a couple of years. I got to go Kevin Harvick. He almost won there in the spring. I think they bring their best stuff, and I think it's Kevin Harvick who gets his second championship.
Those 4 that I have in my championship 4, any one of those guys are capable of winning at Phoenix. They've either been close to winning or they have won there in the past. But of those 4, I will agree with Jonathan, and I say Denny Hamlin will be the champion this year.
All right. Shall I give a drum roll, Casey?
I guess. I always hate to be the agreeer, but Denny Hamlin is my pick for the championship. Look at Merriman had it right. You can't ignore Denny and the performances he's had this season. Yes, Harvick's been good, but I think after last season, Denny's kind of gotten this monkey off his back, showed that he's a contender in the championship 4, would have had the 2019 championship if it hadn't been for a teeny tiny piece of tape.
It was a pretty big piece of tape.
I like the pairing of he and Chris Gabehart. I think they're strong. Again, I also have Logano in my championship 4, and he won in the spring on that new package. So he will be a contender when we get to Phoenix. But I think Denny Hamlin will finally take home a Cup Series championship.
I have a question that maybe get us off the everybody agreeing train. Do you think the winner of the race will be the champion, or do you think the champion, comes away from Phoenix without the race win trophy? I think there's a good chance now more than ever that when we go to Phoenix, we'll have a non-champion win the race, and we'll essentially have 2 victory lanes.
I do think it's more likely than at Homestead, because at Homestead, while it's a mile and a half, there's a lot of other tracks similar to it, so guys have a chance to kind of dial their equipment in. But Phoenix is sort of a one-off. We've seen good drivers flop at Phoenix in the fall race in the past, so I think there's a real possibility. I won't bet against it. How long have we had this format? 6-7 years. Hasn't happened yet. I don't think it's going to happen this year in the Cup Series.
You know, I like to disagree with Jonathan, and I'm going to disagree with Jonathan. The race winner is going to be the champion.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with Kim and Eric on this one. It's going to be the champion.
I agree. The winner of the race will be in victory lane with the with Phoenix, that trophy there, and also with the 2020 championship trophy. I'm going to go with Denny Hamlin. I know that's no shock. We're all going to agree on that as well as my champion pick. Denny, don't pack the tape. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate you all breaking it down for us. We're starting the NASCAR playoffs. Hard to believe. Welcome to the month of September. We're starting with Labor Day weekend at Darlington, coming up 6 p.m. on NBCSN on Sunday. You don't want to miss it. And you guys get out of the truck now. We're done.